when we talk about demand, we know it's almost as contradictory, like we talked a minute ago about people don't trust you, so they're not engaging with you, etc., etc. But regardless, you're still getting a mega load of contact because of all the new channels that are coming in. And it's really difficult to keep up with all that contact and get it to the right people because of the resourcing issues as well, but also because just the increase of the number of ways that people can contact you and how people's expectations have changed as well around how they contact. There's a couple of reasons for why contact's occurring more, just as I mentioned. There's so many more channels. That's probably the biggest thing. Like so many different places now where you kind of have to be present, whether it be live chat on your website, whether it be a contact form, whether it be email, phone, and all the various social channels. And there'll be ever more channels coming as well. You're offering more services. No matter what part of the public sector you're working in, you're always trying to offer more products, services, offerings to that citizen base. And because of that, you're going to get more questions about it or more reasons for people to get in touch with you. The next bit as well is increased awareness and expectations as well. The more they're finding out about your stuff, they just want to contact you more as well. Naturally creates more demand. And then the final one is this like social and political movement thing, which is huge at the moment and snowballed probably since COVID. Like you think about things like Just Stop Oil, the climate change issues, veganism. It sounds ridiculous, but like that's so popular now. Whereas a couple of years ago, like it was quite niche. And people's demands and expectations are changing a lot. They've got lots more questions about lots of different things that probably they weren't asking 4 or 5 years ago. We've got a couple of examples here. So in local gov, I don't know if you guys filled out the public sector survey, but this is some of the results that came out of that. One organisation came to us and said that they get 4,000 monthly inquiries now before they're getting that in a year. So how do they manage that? They haven't staffed themselves for it, so how are they going to cope with that sort of demand? Healthcare organisations, because of the cost of living crisis, a lot of the healthcare workers are going on strike. People still need their appointments serviced or being seen to, they've got questions, they're trying to make appointments, whatever it may be. They're trying to do that while there's a load of workforce who aren't actively working at that moment in time. Again, creating a load of contact that's really difficult to manage. And then obviously the police forces as well, they're experiencing it probably quite difficultly in that people's expectation, like I talked about earlier, is like they want instantaneous response. They don't want to sit and wait. People before would quite happily send you a message on Facebook Messenger and wait a day to get it back. Now they're expecting a response pretty quickly. And again, if you're not staffed for it, and you haven't got the tools and technology available to you, you ain't going to be able to service it. It's just going to create stress. Your teams aren't happy and the citizens aren't happy either. The way, I've kind of covered all this already, haven't I? I think there's a couple of ways in which demand is increasing. I mean, that title's completely wrong. That should say how we can solve these problems. Firstly, if we enhance the number of communication channels that are out there, so where the conversations are happening, so if you do adopt things like Twitter DMs and whatever, and service them through tools like Orlo, that's going to help you at least receive the demand and then work out what you're going to do with it. The next thing kind of touches on what I talked about earlier around engagement. Try and stop some of that contact. So if you can communicate issues on social media quickly or information quickly, it will prevent people trying to get the information from you. Again, local pain that I've got is Warwickshire District Council decided to implement this new bin system called 123, but there's 5 bins, and no one knows what goes out when, and everyone looks out, every Tuesday morning, everyone's looking out the window saying what they done next door, and we'll go do the same. And I know for a fact, everybody's contacting them, trying to say, what the hell's going on with these bins? Oh, now we've got to pay for our garden bins as well. How many permits do I need? And that only runs for the summer. And it's just created a load of pain. They've tried to do something good around recycling and reuse, but implemented it terribly. But if they actually promote it properly in channels that like socials and traditional channels like post for that demographic, it will help that issue so much. And I'm sure that will create them a lot less pain as well. Then the final bit as well is leveraging artificial intelligence and automation to try and deflect or manage or answer as much of that contact as possible. So how Orlo can help? Phil mentioned it earlier, so early last year, however you want to look at it, like January time 2022, we released chatbot on live chat. So that meant that if you had live chat implemented on your website, you could put a chatbot in front of that and it would deflect a load of questions for you. Like, so if you've got FAQs on your website, or you've got the common things like when's my bin getting collected, how do I report a crime, those sorts of things, rather than have a valuable and expensive resource like a human deal with that, like an individual, why not have just AI or chatbot respond to it immediately? Solves their issue straight away. You've already got the information on the website probably anyway, and actually free that person up to work on stuff that's really important and probably needs that human touch. A couple of months ago, we released this across Facebook Messenger and Twitter DMs as well. And it's really quick and set up to set up. I mean, I always use the example, we can get a chatbot set up in 7 minutes. If you've got a FAQ page that already exists, we can scrape it. And at that point, you'll already have a set of questions and answers that works out of the box. And again, I think that's going to be really powerful to do a lot of this deflection. We've got a case study out at the moment where we're able to achieve 50% deflection within a week for one of our customers. And that was done because they were in a high pressure situation that had to shut down their contact center, and they needed some way to manage this contact. So again, if you've got any questions about that, you have to talk about it later. Push mode is really neat capability. So if you use the Orlo inbox and you've got a team of people who are working on that inbox, so responding to people, you can set limits to say, right, okay, Phil can handle 5 messages, so can Hannah, so can Hards, but Hards is on lunch now, so he's going to go offline, so you won't get messages passed to him. And our working hours are X, Y, and Z, and you have different teams that work in different times. You can use this tool to push messages to different people and manage their workload so they don't feel overwhelmed, but also the customer still has an expectation about when things can get responded to. So I think this is a really powerful tool if you're using it. You can also set messages to on hold, because I know we all track response times and stuff like that, so when a message comes in, you can place it on hold if you wait for that customer to come back to you, so it doesn't count badly against that agent's performance. This was brilliant, Spike. This was fantastic, the fact you mentioned this. You read my mind. So the way Spike was using triggers was actually tag messages. But what you can also do with triggers is say, if a message comes in that contains something around billing or bins or whatever it may be, you can assign it to a particular team or person to work on. So you know that you're not wasting time trying to pass this message around different people who may not know the answer. You can get it to the right people so they get that real efficient response back straight away. Better citizen experience as well. And then the final one, like I mentioned earlier, be proactive. It sounds ridiculous, but try and reduce as much of that demand as possible by putting out content to share the information to stop people having to contact you in the first place. I'm pretty sure in most scenarios, the information is already available on your website or somewhere already. So if someone's going to, rather than people come and chase you for that answer, just share it out there immediately. If that new process is happening, this is where you can find all the information, and that's it. Be done with it to try and prevent that contact.